Hello all. Today I'm going to look at the Gaelic of Badenoch, or maybe Badenoch, or maybe even Badenoch if it goes by the pronunciation of Perthshire. The dialect or the language, the tongue itself, seems to have been split up into two somewhat distinct areas, according to the book at least. There was that of the south, I believe it is, so Lagan area, and that was similar to the Gaelic of West Perthshire, I believe. And then there is the northern area, which is similar to that of Strathspey. I think a lot of the sounds are similar all up and down the eastern area of the Highlands. However, of course, there will be regional differences and probably even differences from family to family, though perhaps those differences don't exist anymore because I suspect that most of the speakers are now gone. The word to be quiet, which is sawach, I think, in Badenoch or Badenoch is apparently soch, which is not too dissimilar to how it is said in East Perthshire. Rach is apparently said as rech. So it has an S sound rather than an A sound. So I suspect when you're telling someone to go, it would become rech, rech. Gavel becomes gol, just like East Perthshire. And savel becomes sol. The plural for the word lao, so hand, is lawan. So it becomes shorter rather than lawan. It's lawan. And the same happens with kray or krai, which is bone, becomes krayan in the plural. Fochgal and coddle are fachgal and cuddle, just like East Perthshire and perhaps a lot of other places. And you also have achgrach and bullock and culliman. So lots of o becoming a. The word cloy becomes clay, and the word more or more becomes moo. So smoo. Unlike East Perthshire, it seems like there is a parasitic oo or w sound. So lom in Perthshire becomes lom, and trom becomes trom. Calm becomes calm. Arm is arm. So it's not dissimilar to other areas, it seems, but a little bit different to Perthshire. It does keep the East Perthshire melch for milch or milish, ruin for rin, and also a point instead of being rin is run. So you got ruin, which is tough, and then a point is run. And some words such as smjor and mionach, I believe, are smer and menach. And tai becomes tai, I believe. And nish for nish. So there are quite a few things that are very similar to Perthshire, and then some things that are slightly different, well, at least East Perthshire, but perhaps closer to West Perthshire. Kunes, or kuvnes, the word for kindness, I believe, is coyness. So it instead of a ku, it is a oi sound. I'm not going to go through all of the differences in sounds because I'd like to get to some of the word lists and that. But some other ones are Baal in Perthshire is Bial in Badenoch. Breg in Perthshire is Briag in Badenoch. And Jair in Perthshire is Giad in Badenoch, and so on and so forth, apparently. Interestingly, a jewel becomes shod rather than sheared or shared. It becomes shod. And for leu, it becomes low. Like in Perthshire, the R or L is transplanted sometimes. So, for example, barrel is ballad in both Perthshire and in Badenoch. It is called, they say, metathesis, which is not an easy word to say. So, other ones are Imri becomes Irmi, Imrich becomes Irmi, Lomed becomes Lurma. Other ones are, this one is the same in Perthshire, is for Conial, it becomes Colin. And also in Lagan, they say Yalabar for Yarbal. And Imlug for becomes Ilmik. And Imlich becomes Ilmich. So you can see there are a lot of changes. It seems a lot of the dative case endings have disappeared entirely, and you only have lenition. And it seems as well that in a lot of cases, the genitive changes have also disappeared, though that's not true entirely. And the same can be said for East Perthshire, where certain genitive forms exist either as a nominative, so as a subject, or in certain constructions. So, for example, I'm trying to think of one. Rein Dauri, I believe. So over the summer, whereas it would usually be Saur or Ndaur, or even sometimes Nzaur. So you have a little Z there. Sometimes you have the genitive form showing up in place of the nominative. For example, Kluash in East Perthshire instead of Kluas. Not unlike East Perthshire, the ad and vud, so our and your, have been replaced almost entirely by other forms. So the form where I think it's circumlocution, I think that's the word, where they'd say, for example, the work at us, an oberagin, rather than ad nobed. Or you could potentially say in East Perthshire, nad obed, if I remember correctly. In Badenoch, it seems to have been in place of the plural or formal you, or your rather, na, ha. So udne, in place of udne, it'd be na ha. So umbel na hired stay. So is your father in. The g sound in a lot of the, for example, egg, me, so agam, aget, etc., seems to have fallen away as well. So it'd be or ein, etc. And another form that corresponds with the Perthshire form is the g and then a pronoun. So hugam, for example, is not said, and instead it would be me or gunu or guna, etc., which is very, very similar to the Perthshire, which is gumi, gu, etc. Or, so from is always with the v at the start, so vo, vuam, etc. And so about, doesn't combine. And that, I think, is true also for East Perthshire. So it'd always be something like Mumayen, perhaps, if I remember correctly. Mumayen. So here it says the preposition g does not coalesce with the pronouns now. To me is gami, not hugam. Also, get becomes gut, which I've seen a lot in Perthshire as well. So here's a bit of a list of some words. We've got, for Thor, it's achi, which I believe perhaps is a genitive form. A fool is bualch. A snout is brollen. To acquire a taste for is botch. A soft place is bought, maybe, or bought. Crush. I'm not sure if this is the verb form. I think it is bruash. A frivolous person is kefan. A pass, like a road, I think, is a car. And it says here, possibly this is the Irish key, or it'd be in Irish maybe key. Moss in situ is card. Pladding is kushjed. Play is never clay, but it's always clay. Jump is just. A dealing, I'm not entirely sure what that is, but jerach. A piece is dorach. Handy is dlual. That's a bit of a hard word to say, dlual. A rush on face or body, felon. Infant's clout is fochjan. A soap sud is gret. I've heard gred, I think, as well in Perthshire. A stride is gaskak. A chap or a fellow is gobble. A row or a disturbance is onagach. A lump or bit is root. A flux of stones on a hillside is skarmich. A lot of small items, such as small potatoes, is skriel. To notch or to hack is skoch. A lad is smarach. Kicking is spedach. Gruel is stewrak. I believe that's in Perthshire as well. Peat cutter is tosk. Taunt or cut is chebaj. Scattering, for example, dung, is urskal, which also shows up in Perthshire. Ashes is ulach. And bustle is unyasht. And some borrowed words that are often used in both Perthshire and in Badenoch are ferm for farm, golug for haycock. I think I've seen that one before. Pen instead of pian or piaun. East Perthshire paper is paper, but here it's parped. I can't remember if it was pibed or pebed in East Perthshire, but here it's pibed for pepper. Brimstone is pronostal, not pronosk. I'm not entirely sure what the East Perthshire for that is. A trick is protag, from the Scots pratic. A partition is talaj, from the Scots Holland. And business or busyness, from troch, is trog. East Perthshire has troch. So, hamiri mochroch. I'm doing my chores. Words like sorsht or sort and sport rather are sorsht and sporst, never shorsa or sporsa. And that I think is true for East Perthshire as well. Because you find sorsht in East Perthshire and you also find spursht in West Perthshire for sport. So I'm guessing that East Perthshire might have also been sporsht. So I think that will do it for now. I do have another video with some more words from Badenoch coming up. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.